Namaste.
Hello and welcome to the Sikkim podcast. I am Tshering Eden.
And I'm Pema Wangchuk.
And we will get straight on into
the
podcast. Which
we did when we started off. Did we say welcome to the Sikkim podcast?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I missed that.
So, today we had the chief ministers interacting with the prime minister through video conferencing on possible discussion on the way ahead. I mean, whether there's going to be, people are expecting, whether the lockdown is going to be extended further, what kind of extension will it be, will there be any relaxations?
What happens to the economy? I think the focus this time was the Prime Minister also stressing that we need to look out for the economy as well. One of the things. So the Chief Minister, I think after the video conference, he put out a message on his Facebook page, put out a post on his Facebook page stating that the meeting went well. Sikkim received a lot of praise.
Yeah, and that the Prime Minister has said agricultural and production sector, I don't know what that means, agriculture and
industry.
Production sector should be continued in the country, and in the end, I mean, it was just a very short message, 3 paragraphs, and so in the end he requests all Sikkimis to download the Aarogya Setu app, and also requests students to help others understand the usefulness of the app. Teachers and students, he urges teachers and students to make other people understand how the app is used, I guess. And so that is where we come to our discussion topic, which is the Aarogya Setu app, which has been, the Prime Minister has been saying it, and in the last week the government was not requesting but ordering people to
I think
download it.
The Ministry of Home Affairs and the Disaster Management Act or whatever, they have been sending out messages to state governments to encourage people to download the app. And I think Sikkim is unique in the country in that all the 4 district magistrates have made it compulsorily downloadable.
They said it is mandatory for people to download it.
Yes. How are they going to check? Because we'll get into the discussion. I mean, who are we to comment on whether this is good or bad, right? These are desperate times and require desperate measures. The Aarogya Setu app, at a very superficial level, is like the kind of, I think Geo had this kind of quiz thing on its app as well, where you could key in information and it'll tell you whether you're at risk or not, right? So at one level, Aarogya Setu app is just that. So when you kind of log in and when you download the app, it'll kind of ask your travel history, fever hai ki nahi hai, this and that, and it'll tell you whether you're at risk or not. And it'll sign off with this message ki please stay safe, stay home or whatever. But it is not just that, right? The Aarogya Setu app is not necessary for this questionnaire, because that everybody knows. If they have a travel history or if they have been in contact with someone with the symptoms, they need to be careful, get checked medically or whatever. The Aarogya Setu app has its real utility is in the fact that if everybody has it, and if all your phones have been put on, what they're not telling us, for instance.
No, first just you should explain why the government is...
it is for tracking.
Yeah.
It's to track the people, right? So that all the phones are connected and they ping each other every time they're in proximity of each other. And the moment someone with a particular phone number tests positive, you can trace wherever that person has been and who has been around that person, so they can be accordingly warned, or they'll get a message that this person who was within 1 meter of you, or who was in your phone's Bluetooth range on such and such date has tested positive, so be careful, get tested or whatever, right? That's at one level. I think they've not thought this through.
Obviously, like many other things.
Like everything else, I think. Because can you imagine the scale of confusion and hysteria it could kick off? Let's say I am with my phone walking at MG Marg. Okay, MG Marg is not crowded or anything. I'm walking somewhere where there's, 10... While I'm walking to office, I walk past about 40 people. my phone, if it has Aarogya app, and if their phone has Aarogya app, and if our Bluetooths are on, our phones will say hi to each other. One of this 40 tests positive, all of us should technically get an alert that a person you were within infecting distance of has tested positive. All of us will panic and will rush to the hospital. I just hope that the authorities are prepared for that kind of panic. Can you realize how big it can be?
I don't think that's ever going to happen, first of all.
No, then what's the use?
It's just to track people.
It's just to track people, because all my information is there, and they don't tell me what they're going to do with that information or how long that information is going to be there. They don't tell us whether this Aarogya app is going to keep collecting information about me only till the time COVID is a threat, and will it go away after that? It'll probably not. Then they'll say we want to trace you for TB, we want to trace you for espionage, whether you say bad things about the Pradhan Mantri and things like all that crap, right? So that is one part of it. But I can understand this is a national disaster situation. They can get away with things like this. It might actually even have its benefits. I seriously doubt it.
No,
because
on
I think
paper, like everything else that all the kya bolte usko, that trendy word for these jugaad types. Oof.
I don't know. Jugaad types is jugaad.
No,
what is a jugaad? Jugaad already is a type.
These politicians use
these big words.
No, not this big word. Oh, कि ऐसे झूठ बोल रहे हैं तुमको ऐसे ही वो करने के लिए, whatever, ऐसे ही बोल रहे हैं. Amit Shah had used that word.
Oh, Jumla.
Jumla.
It's not a Jumla. See, a Jumla is a slogan. It's something you say. Aarogya app is something I'll have to download on my phone.
No. Jumla is not a slogan. Jumla is something that you... It's like, क्या बोलते हैं?
Hawa mithai.
Hawa mithai, huh? This is also like Hawa mithai is what I'm saying.
It is not.
No, on paper, this is supposed to be very good, right? This app to track people, to control the infection also. So suppose I have COVID-19 and my mobile, whatever, has that app, yours has that app, and whatever, then the authorities will come to know that you might also be infected. So whatever, on paper it makes sense, right? But it's in a country like India, I don't know how they're going to pull it off, like how you pointed out, right?
The panic
it could create. So panic to baad ki baat hai. Pehle whether who is going to track, who's going to find out.
The app will do it automatically.
App will do it, but like if you have like even 1 million people infected, who's going to track those 1 million people? कहाँ पहुँचे, क्या like
phone करेगा ना वो तो.
phone करेगा.
GPS भी तो on करना है.
phone कौन करेगा, follow up कौन करेगा, वो hospital वो बोल रही हूँ मैं.
No, of course it's not got to be done physically. You realize that, right? It's something that the AI will do.
No, AI will. What are you saying? Aarogya Setu app is not going to itself call people saying that
they'll get a message and alert.
Somebody will have to monitor that. No, क्या बोल रहे हो आप? Aarogya Setu app itself will.
It's like
detect whether you have COVID or not.
It's this ultimate piece of software technology that our government has created.
No, I think it is only.
No, I don't think a human is going to be sifting through interesting phones.
No, I'm saying.
But it is something that the app does. It's like those Japanese had those toy things on your phone.
You're not getting me. It is going to collect data. It is going to have on record who was in whose proximity at what time and all that, right? Yeah. But
what to do with that data?
तो इसमें तो humans आएंगे ना.
No, but this is I think at the root of it is the government, they've not thought this through. Let's not give it any Machiavellian plans. They've not thought this through. They thought, brilliant. And like I pointed out, the logistic and the difficulty of kind of pulling this off and the panic that it has potential to trigger, right? Those make it worrying. Yes, and what you say is also right? Like if someone tests positive, let's say a message goes up, you will still need some human follow-up in those particular areas or whatever. Of course, they've not thought it through. And they're just doing this to collect data. I think this government is obsessed about controlling us.
Yeah.
A situation like this gives it the power to do that. And my problem is, this is something that we've written in the paper as well, is my problem with the Aarogya Setu app itself is that it is a repeat of how the lockdown was introduced, where it just completely ignored the fact that the majority of our country is poor. It forgot, like the lockdown forgot the migrant workers, and we are still not being able to provide for them. There are still migrant workers who want to go home and nothing is being done for them. So just like that, when they said make Aarogya app, okay, it's almost innocent to say encourage people. We think it's a good software, a good app, encourage people to use it. It's innocent enough. But let's see what happened in Sikkim. The DM passed an order saying that if you want to apply for an e-pass, you have to have Aarogya Setu on your app. If you want to visit a government office, you need to have Aarogya Setu on your app. If you want to get anything done, you have to have Aarogya Setu on your app. And the last point says all students and all people should, it is mandatory for them to have Aarogya Setu on their phones. What the offensive part is, it takes for granted you're tying services, emergency government services, you're tying to the fact that you have a smartphone. This app cannot be downloaded on your Purana phones. You need to have a smartphone to download it. So they just take for granted that everyone has a smartphone, right? It is bad enough that they think that. It is worse. I think it is offense. It is disturbing that they're going to tie something like an emergency e-pass to the fact that you have a smartphone. Because only after you have a smartphone can you download the Aarogya Setu app on it, right? That is wrong. You take this, you're immediately cutting off everyone who doesn't own a smartphone from even having any access to any privileges in our country. That is, I think, wrong. And it goes on. The fact that you need to have a GPS on at all times. Otherwise, how will your phone be pinging everybody else? You need to have your Bluetooth. No one is telling us that. Everyone is saying, oh, Aarogya Setu are brilliant. For that quiz, I mean, Facebook will give you 10 different quizzes that will tell you whether you have any chances of getting the virus or not. Why do I need to download this app? But you need to have your GPS on, you need to have your Bluetooth on. The old model or the cheaper models of smartphones, you'll just drain their batteries. We've heard of phones heating up because the Bluetooth is on, right? Let's say not everyone is going to have a high-end smartphone. The lower-end smartphones into which you can technically download this is going to just drain your battery.
Even some of the higher-end smartphones...
so the next order we can expect from the DC is that everyone should compulsorily buy a... What is that called? That recharge battery pack?
Power bank.
A power bank. Because how am I... Then it is going to come out with a notification saying it is illegal for people to switch off their smartphones when they are in public. Do you realize the levels of rights and invasion of privacy that we're giving up for the government for something that has got very dubious potential to deliver anything good? Has anyone told you yet that they all claim all the benefits of our Aarogya Setu app, right? By now, millions of people have already downloaded it. Shouldn't we have had by now some examples of how this has helped? Has any of the awareness pamphlets and everything else told you that you need to have your Bluetooth on, you need to you need to allow this app to use access to your camera, your contacts, your messages, allow it to record things if it wants, and what that entails? It's problematic. I mean, it's problematic for me.
No,
we could probably get charged under the Disaster Act that they have, this weird law that has given the centre so many powers.
It is ridiculous. You find it offensive? I think for me, offensive, more than offensive, it is absolutely unthinkable what the state did. Not
Delhi to will try, no?
And Delhi to kuch bhi kare, but the state making it mandatory for everything.
And I can't understand, right? When your DM a week back made it mandatory for all citizens, right? Why is the CM still appealing that please encourage people to download? This has become the law, no? As far as the government notifications go, this is the law. Now, before I go to a government office, and we've had instances, the one day the office was open, before that the app notification came out, someone I know who went to the secretariat, at the gate they were asked, do you have Aarogya app on your phone or not? The person knew the other person, he said, no, I'll download it later, and he was allowed through. Otherwise, you'll not be allowed to enter. Which means To strangers, I'll have to show my phone and open the app and tell them that I have the Aarogya app. Then they'll want to check whether my Bluetooth is on, whether my GPS is on, whether all the permissions have been granted, right? I might as well just put a Bluetooth and tell them, yeah, download all the, like everything from my phone onto yours, yeah? Do we want to give up that level of privacy? You can't just say, what is the government going to do with my information? It's not about that. I mean, what we just kind of, bato mein jo nikal aaya tha ye, what level of Kafkaesque situations. Can you imagine? They probably have to subsidize power banks, which might be a good thing. Otherwise, if your phone is not on in public and the Bluetooth and GPS is not on, then Aarogya Setu app is pointless, no?
Ho gaya ab. Can you move
You're
on?
not convinced. I mean, I'm saying all this hoping that I at least convince you, and from there on we convince our listeners that
I'm already
you got to question these things.
I'm already convinced,
Yeah, so...
Speaking to the converting the converted. It's ridiculous, but then it's very bleak because people from Sikkim, people of India, and especially people from Sikkim, they don't ask questions. They are... herd immunity. यहाँ पे होगा.
Yeah, herd actually, eh? With the A or without it.
Yeah, it's just like everybody waits for someone to speak and then they will join in.
Probably not, because
they might not.
We've also seen
also,
people kind of their fear driving them to support the wrong things also.
Oh, and then if someone speaks, then that person becomes the opposition, right? Oh, what the opposition commands you? You can't take them seriously.
And it's worrying, right? If someone was to just challenge me and say, so are you against people being kept safe from COVID-19? Which is not it, right? I mean, the fact that I am not completely convinced about
that is the kind of argument
what do you say
that,
to that?
The Modi government, since the Modi government came, that is the kind of arguments we've been seeing on the ground, like continuously, right? Tum ye nahi ho, tum wo ho. Tum wo nahi ho, to tum ye ho.
Yeah.
It's that, right? Nationalists, if you don't believe in something, you are anti-national. If you don't download the Aarogya Setu app, you are like pro COVID-19.
As if such a thing exists.
Yeah, that is very much possible. But yeah,
no, because you cannot. I was almost laughing last time I saw someone from ICMR, right, which is an intelligent body. It's got scientists and doctors, right, who was saying that the media is whipping up paranoia and fear about COVID-19. And you got to tell them, have you seen that the country has been in lockdown for more than a month? The government is already scaring the people. When the entire economy is brought to a standstill, people are locked into their homes. How much more can media play a role in scaring them, right? The government has already scared us enough, right? Every time they extend the thing, every time the cops go and lathi charge people because they are breaking the lockdown, people are going hungry, they can't go out for food and things like that. The government is already through its rules doing that. I don't know.
No, what is going to happen is, okay, I was just thinking, in case someone doesn't have a phone, like in this situation right now, when there is it's like an official order, right? You have to have Aarogya Setu app and you don't have a smartphone. You'll borrow someone's
You broke your smartphone.
No, you'll borrow someone's smartphone. I'm telling you, वैसे कैसे चलेगा? जुगाड़ ऐसे ही चलेगा. You'll borrow your neighbor's smartphone and just to show it, the person is not going to check whether that your वो gate में कि तुम्हारा ही phone है कि नहीं, तो कैसे check करेंगे ना? वो नहीं करेंगे. I mean,
Otherwise, time, like for the government offices to open, there's a long time away.
No, they'll have to check that also then, right? Your phone, they'll have to check whether that phone actually belongs to the person who's holding it. वो करना पड़ेगा.
Don't give them ideas. What's wrong with you? Now we'll have to carry the receipt for the phone we bought in our names and the receipt for the SIM that is there in it in our names. Like, or no idea.
No, that's
हमारे DC साहब निकाल देंगे एक और order.
Bakwas, yeah. You have to carry your receipts of the phone that you are.
How else are you going to prove?
वही तो bakwas. It's really like क्या खा के बैठते हैं लोग.
I can understand encourage, right? You are convinced that this is nice, right? This is the best thing that has happened. This is the best app that has ever been developed. Convince people. Don't make it mandatory. And people, like, don't allow them to make it mandatory when the law doesn't allow it.
I know.
It's not like they're saying that committing a murder is a crime. Right? It's not the same. Like that, of course, we want the government to constantly tell people. It's like...
Yeah, it's frustrating.
No, because we'll allow them. Ab to karte jayenge na koshish. That something else will be tried out. Like they'll just... I don't know. As it is, Sikkim, as if Sikkim did not already require too many documents to access government service. Now you add one more app to it as well.
It must have been a directive from the center, YEBI, to the states to make it mandatory.
No. Because no other state has made it mandatory. Some districts have made it mandatory. And I wanted to call up these media houses and tell them, don't you know about Sikkim? They were saying, oh my God, this district in Andhra Pradesh or somewhere, the DM has made it mandatory for the people. And like, how can they do that? It's like, I said, really? You notice this remote district in Chhattisgarh or Andhra Pradesh, you don't realize that the entire state of Sikkim has, at least on paper, made it mandatory.
Yeah. And they'll... Yeah.
We're still on Aarogya Setu. I thought we were going to move to another topic now.
You are not letting us move forward.
Okay.
We are going to move to another topic, and that is the racist attacks on people from the Northeast in other states of India. And this was brought up by the friend as well as a listener, Anupa Rai, had commented on one of our podcasts.
One of our two listeners.
One of our two listeners, I know. That why don't you discuss this topic as well? Because we haven't discussed this like recently. I think in the past maybe.
Racism targeted on the people from the Northeast, or people who look like chinky looking people with corona as the slur.
Yeah.
Right, which is a kind of step up from chinky and chiclets.
Chiclets ka to, yeah, long back.
No, they were not called chiclets.
They are not called chiclets.
Okay.
Chiclets, they are not called chiclets. Chiclets ke baare mein...
There was a chiclets ad.
That I had written about once, yeah. And it was very racist. Anyways, so it's very easy. सब कुछ Northeast पे थोप दो, कुछ हो गया चिंकी.
No, but why does it surprise anyone?
I
mean, like, it's not as if the Northeast people were not suffering any racism, and suddenly Corona happened, and like they look like Chinese, so the mainland India is suddenly targeting them with this thing. The mainland India was always launching racist attacks on the people from the Northeast. They've just added to their vocabulary, right? It does not make it right, but it explains it. It's worrying. It is something that they've had laws against now, right?
Yep.
But it doesn't stop people.
Yeah.
It was, I guess, at one level you could just dismiss it to the ignorance of people when that, like, the roadside Romeo would tease. They would tease chinky guys also, but girls, right, from the Northeast, and also guys. But the ones that made it to the news was when they were denied entry to a mall, right, to a provision store, which was quite a big provision. It's a chain of provision stores, you know that? What happened in one of the South Indian states. And they were not... So that is an institutional level racism. So that requires to be condemned in a stronger voice. And the administration did file an FIR, take action, arrested some people or whatever, right? So that was good. But what was worrying was that this was not, like, what is worrying is that it's being done at an institutional level, openly. Institutional level racism was there otherwise also. When you go for college admissions and hostel admissions also, you suffer it. But it is not at an official level, right? You're not like sent away from the door. In this case, that happened. So it was worrying. Like, my daughter's in Bangalore, and she was saying, like, I mean, she's in lockdown, so she doesn't go out much. But she's saying, otherwise also, why will I want to go out in this kind of scenario? Like, such irritating people around if they say things like this.
Yeah.
But these need to be condemned from more places. Like, at an official level, I think governments of the Northeast should also condemn it, not just the victim's state. Because it is not because that person belonged to a particular state that he was... targeted. It was because he looks a certain way, which applies to all the people. So I think all governments in one voice, our governors who have got so much time to call everyone for a meeting every 2-3 days, should also take the time out to condemn these kind of incidents. You don't have anything to say about racism? I'm being very subtle, and nuanced.
I don't know what to say. Because I've lived in Delhi for a long time, I had become inured to the racism that was an everyday thing there, right? So maybe because of that also, and
it gets compounded, right? I mean, it's always sexist.
It's
right.
On top of that, I'm a
it gets
woman.
Racism also gets.
I used to get assaulted, like not like that assaulted, but like mentally assaulted with sexist comments and racist comments, and it was like, so I'm like,
that's what I'm saying. So this is like a pre-existing condition that mainland India already suffers from. It's just that they've added to their vocabulary. There's one more thing that they can't call people. What was offensive was, that was that thing, and then there was this pan thukna thing had become a thing at one time, right? Which is wrong. I mean, it's one thing to just comment, and it's another to actually physically invade. And that's wrong. I mean, so it's traumatic also for the person. So, and until every agency, condemning is one thing, but unless every agency steps up and does something about it, it's not going to end.
Yeah.
And it's ignorance. I mean, mainland India Indians, we by nature are ignorant. So my point used to be, why would I let someone else's ignorance offend me? Right? When people would ask, where are you from, and they won't know where you're from, or when they cannot pronounce your name or understand your religion. But I would say, like, this that guy's ignorance. It's not why should I kind of carry it on my head and say, oh my God, they don't understand me.
But my message to the people, when any kind of racist attack or incident like this happens, is the immediate reaction is then you attack the mainland people, right? As in, like,
in your neighborhood.
No. Not like, I'm not saying physically attack. Then people will start saying this, they are like that. They always done that. They don't understand us. They it becomes they and us, right? But I would like people to also think about, when you are accusing someone of racism, don't yourself fall into that.
Oh, but we are all racist.
We are all racist. No, what I'm saying is that all of mainland India is not racist.
Yeah.
I still like to think that there are people there are a few scum of the earth, kya bolte?
Yeah,
everywhere, right?
Among us.
Yeah, among us also. So just because of one or two irritating people, don't, it's difficult. I know I have felt, but I thankfully never felt that kind of hatred for everyone in mainland India, right? Like, I would be like, they are like, I want to kill them all or whatever. I never felt. I would be frustrated, irritated at that moment with that particular person or group of people. I have fought with them. I have gone to the police station. I have filed. All that I have done. So, but you have to not lose focus and not lose perspective. That is just a section of people. Because then you see it on social media also, no? These incidents also that have happened in the past, then you see this, like,
people just, unloading.
Unloading, like, aise hi hai, mainland people will be like this only, you should beat them up, you should kill them, whatever, all that comments you will see, right? But that is what I'm saying, because...
your response to racism cannot be a racist comment.
Yeah. You have to... Otherwise, what's the point, right? You hear that. Here also, every day you see, you will come across one or two comments. Oh, they've done that. Let them come to Sikkim. We'll also show them what racism is.
Of course, you cannot condemn a racist incident with a racist comment yourself.
And the thing is, this is not really related. Maybe I'm going off topic a little bit. And another thing is, you were saying, no, something, like, everybody has to come together. If Sikkim ka student is attacked, then the rest of the Northeast should also speak up and all that. So वो क्यों नहीं होगा? Because इनके बीच में भी, between the 8 states, no, including Sikkim, 8 states also there is no unity, right? There is racism within them also, right?
Yeah.
So when people make this big issue, I'm like, they are just taking out their lives, other frustration on this particular incident. I feel,
True.
बिकज खुद ही में वैसा है, सिक्किम में भी वही है. ये लोग हमको, हमारे नानीहरूलाई कस्तो हेप्छ बाहिर. यहाँ चाहिँ मेनल्यान्डको मधेसी नानीहरूलाई हेप्दैन. आई मिन, आई एम बिङ भेरी, क्या बोलते हैं इसको, एक्सप्लिसिट.
Is it? No. I think it's okay.
Yeah. So you call them things like that. You have a tag for them. You don't treat them.
You don't give them equal status.
You don't treat them at par with other communities of Sikkim.
Yeah.
So then you don't have any right to comment on someone else treating your kid badly. If you are going to treat someone else's kid badly, I don't know what. Anyways, I think I am Shekhar Gupta incarnate.
No, but it's when incidents like this crop up, I think it's a good time for people also to look inwards and see whether they also manifest those kind of expressions. It's important for them to keep that in mind. Yeah.
So with that, let's move on to our next topic.
Yes.
Which is the education sector and how it is going to fend off the COVID-19. Effects of the COVID-19.
Pause. Yeah, I think the economy is taking a battering. I think education is also taking a battering, and I don't think anyone has any idea on how to keep it, how to make sure that kids are educated properly. They don't have a clue. UGC doesn't have a clue. The education department doesn't have a clue. I mean, they all claim to have solutions.
I think they should just, brilliant, like epiphany. They should just chill. वैसे भी कुछ तो कर नहीं रहे थे.
Yeah, I mean, no, in the initial days, if you remember, we were joking about it as well. I think it's in one of the podcasts. It's stuff I've written as well. Where I said, like, it's probably good that the education, like the education, the departmental control over education is gone for a toss, right?
Yeah.
And the teachers cannot kind of brainwash our kids anymore. So maybe this is the time when the kids will actually end up learning a lot.
Yeah, on Google and...
Yeah, I mean, Google can teach them better.
Yeah.
No, but again, then that's again a very elitist thing, right?
Not everybody has.
But now I'm realizing that, like, the schools and colleges and universities, forget about whatever drivel they're teaching our kids. Education is not just about the books and the teacher giving you a lecture, right? It's also about the whole social interaction. Can you imagine kids growing up? We don't know how long this will go on, right?
Yeah.
Schools will probably take much longer to open. But the kids, this is also a social learning from them. When they're in groups, there is the whole interaction. They understand social hierarchies. They understand friendships, sharing and things like that. Gone.
Yeah.
Right? It's just gone for the past month and a half. It's like, I was just trying to talk to some teachers recently, and I was saying, you're doing your online teaching classes or whatever. I said, have you thought for the junior kids that maybe it is time that they download Zoom? I don't care whether it's a Chinese spyware or whatever. Download some app shouldn't the class friends be at least getting together online and talking to each other, or find ways, teach them how to write letters and find Mitho delivery to also deliver letters for you or whatever, right? That social interaction is completely gone. And I think it's important for kids to also, because वो तो अभी सोच ही नहीं रहे हैं. They're still thinking कि we'll teach class. And then, I now remember my rant. It was about their online plan, right? The online thing is not going to work. It has not worked even 20%, I would say. Because you can't give lectures on Facebook and YouTube or whatever else, or WhatsApp or things, and expect that kids will tune in and waste their bandwidth to listen to some boring stuff for hours on end. They came up with this option of putting it on television. I think the All India Radio thing was also happening. There are too many things. Okay, this is all very fine to show in your files, government files that you'll send to Ministry of Home human resource development, oh, look what a great job I'm doing, I'm worried for the kids. You're not. Because you're not addressing, for me, if you are an education planner, before you put something on All India Radio or television or Facebook or whatever other platform, online platform, you would have made the effort to first do at least an anecdotal survey to find out at what time are these gadgets free for the students to use at home. Because not every home does a kid have his own television or his own radio or his own phone. You've got to first plan it in a way that they get it at a time when the rest of the family is not going to be watching their favorite soap on television. Because they're not going to get the chance. They're not going to say, okay, Saas bhi kabhi, that's too old, right? Whatever is coming on TV right now, that, sorry, you can't listen to a lecture. CID. It's always going to be on, right? So right now, CID is going to come, so sorry, you can't listen to your lecture, right? And you cannot say, oh, parents should help with the students' education and all that crap. When you've put people in lockdown for a month and a half, they need their entertainment, right? So you should have thought that. I don't know, 6 o'clock in the morning maybe is the time when kids have access to these.
I'm so kicked with the CID joke.
No, okay. But you did not. They think the problem with the bureaucracy is it thinks it has a solution. It'll just push it through. It will not bother with the impact or its outreach, whether it's working or not. And before they implement something like this, they will not have the. It can't be called empathy. It's like just logic and reasoning.
Common sense.
Common sense.
Common sense is not very common.
Shouldn't they have done that? I mean, I think they should have done that. They should have found out what percentage of kids in government schools in Sikkim have these kind of things at home. Or what is the one universally accessible tool to them? Distribute free radios, yaar. How much does it cost?
Distribute free phones, yeah. I know, but
कहाँ से खरीदोगे?
network.
No, there's the network problem. There's the bandwidth. I mean, I give them a phone. They still have to buy data, right?
Yeah.
Am I going to waste my data on listening to a boring lecture, or am I going to use it to watch Netflix or whatever porn website I want to go on?
Definitely.
So, like, you got to be realistic in those counts.
Yeah.
I don't know. Free radios could have worked.
Yeah.
Right? You've got the All India Radio Network there. You've got the FMs there. I'm sure they would have. You could have opened a new bandwidth. Community radios, if you had bothered to promote community radios in Sikkim, that would have been such a wonderful.
Someone was mentioning
space.
Community radio, something. There was something.
Yeah, I mean, and it's good. Kids, I mean, I don't know. Put a lot. All your sound system guys are out of work right now, isn't it? You can hire all the sound systems, put it in the villages, and have a public broadcast of lessons. Let the older people also listen to what kind of things we are teaching the kids.
Don't
give them ideas. No.
Yeah. You've got to think of other things. We all know. ये phone, TV, radio is like कौन से ज़माने का यार कौन सुनता है आजकल?
No, but radio दे दोगे बच्चों को तो it'll be theirs and they can know that okay within these hours I can listen to it, and I don't know, it could work.
See, as it is, studies are boring for children.
Yeah.
On top of that, you're going to give it on a boring device like a radio. Phone में तो maybe they might be interested. They might just spend like 2 minutes there listening to whatever. But कौन सुनता है यार radio में? Anyway, so there has to be some other, they have
to think out of
innovative
because
ideas.
It's good. 31st May, India is going to have summer vacations in June, right?
No, like,
does it have summer vacations in June?
Yeah,
June, July.
We have changed the chutti system. That's again back to the normal system. I have no
Forget
idea.
about Sikkim.
Oh,
Sikkim
India
academic session has only just begun,
June
right? June is the summer vacation time, right? So Delhi is going to think कि अब education के बारे में कुछ नहीं सोचना because अभी तो vacations चल रहा है यहाँ पे annual vacations. Sikkim क्या करेगा? They will not tell you what to do. Your schools will just continue to remain closed till July, August. Delhi can afford that because their academic session will begin after the summer vacations. Yours have begun in Feb. You've already lost this time. Delhi is not going to realize that some areas have winter sessions. And then what will you do? Because they think 31 May कर दिया, June सब छुट्टी हो जाएगा.
हाँ वो डेट चेंज कर देंगे ना यहाँ पे भी जून में छुट्टी कर देंगे ना because they have to follow everything that the center says.
But you cannot buy time, no?
I'm joking, oh.
Yeah, okay. They will probably end up doing something like that.
Yeah. दिमाग कैसे चलाएंगे?
No, I think what India should do is, whenever the lockdown opens, when did the lockdown begin?
21st. No. 21st it was supposed to end. 21st.
That was the 3 weeks. Yeah. 31st March or something, right?
25th March.
25th March?
Yeah.
So I think whenever the lockdown ends, they should say, that day is going to be 26th March.
Wow. Brilliant. Like, idea, Pazi.
We've messed up. Like, we're going to be in dire straits very soon. Man.
Yeah, so let's move on to the other topic.
Okay.
Which is of mental health, which...
We're about to lose it anyways on air.
So since we are talking on... we're not really talking about mental health, but we were kind of losing it, so we thought we should talk about mental health also, because I think it's something that has not been paid attention
at all. In Sikkim, I don't see anything happening.
Yeah, I think day before I saw something very sad, social media, the government department had done some talk. Anyway, but I have heard personally from friends and all, there have been one or two cases where I think people who were already suffering from some kind of mental health issues kind of not lost it, but I would say it became quite bad.
Yeah, the stress.
Yeah, because of the stress.
Yeah,
and it was
stress.
Yeah, there was no other reason.
And the fear.
Purely because
and
of
that
COVID-19.
Worry of
yeah.
COVID-19.
And I have heard that outside, the psychologists, psychiatrists, I don't know if psychiatrists, but psychologists are like just giving out their own phone numbers, making it public, their own personal phone numbers, telling people to call them because that is their job.
Yeah.
So, to counsel people, right? And here you have one phone number, I think, of the suicide helpline and the COVID-19 helpline, 104, and I don't know how good they are, as in whether the counselling is any good and whether you can...
If I'm having a panic attack, I will not call the suicide helpline, right? I would maybe call my counsellor or my psychologist.
Maybe people who have already are getting help from doctors, they might be contacting their doctors themselves, right? But otherwise, I think there is nothing. You just...
It's worrying. I don't know. I don't know why more is not being done. But it's not as if they were even earlier doing anything substantial.
Yeah.
So that doesn't surprise me either. But in a time like this, normal people are under so much stress. Can you imagine someone with an pre-existing mental condition, what they must be going through? So I think the outreach program should have been much more effective.
Yep.
And I can't understand why it has not happened. I cannot understand why it has not happened. We are told that now they have counsellors down to the PHC level and things like that. I would really like someone to explain whether they're just appointees or whether they're actually people with some counselling jobs. I mean, I'm sure they get training and stuff like that, but what kind of outreach are they investing in? Have they tried to reach out to people and see if they can be helped? That is worrying, and they might claim that they're doing a lot, but we've not seen it.
Yeah.
So if we've not seen it, that means it is not the messaging. There's something missing in the messaging as well, right? So maybe they have to go with better messaging so that everybody has access to that kind of information. That if someone is under that kind of stress, or they know someone who's under that kind of in that kind of a condition, then who do they call?
Yeah, I think it's a hopeless situation. Everything, I've become a very not pessimistic. Pessimistic is too mild.
Defeatist.
Nihilist.
Anarchist? Not yet.
No. Because as it is the mental health, I think the system was not really robust. Forget about robust, working in Sikkim. And then you have a situation like this, what will that non-existing system do?
Yeah.
Right? So
I mean, the systems have to be working to begin with for them to deliver better.
Ab to kya karenge aur bhi?
You can't get it working now.
Overnight, yeah. You could try, but because this is the best not excuse, but the best time to do it, right? But then it's
the incentive is strong.
Because I have on Facebook a long time ago, I think I had liked these 1 or 2 pages, which is all US, because there was at that time nothing
local,
even Sikkim, even India based. So you had these, they have these suicide NGOs working in the field of suicide prevention or mental health, and they are like amazing. They would be so consistent in even on social media. Almost every day they would post something on social media, and there would be a message, there would be the helpline number, and it would be anything like, so is it your birthday today? Are you feeling low? Because some people have these birthdays mein hota hai, there are these special days, right? So, or whatever, those kind of messages would continuously come, and especially during their festivals, Thanksgiving, are you feeling low? It's Christmas time, are you feeling low? Have you whatever, those times you would see messages. And then during this COVID-19 thing also, they are coming up with, obviously because it's already there in place, right? So they are coming up with these messages as well as suggestions and tips to handle the stress and all that. And there is absolutely nothing in Sikkim, right? Also, the other thing was I wanted to point out was that there were a few suicides recently, right? One was in the prison, one was in here somewhere in East Sikkim. I think there were 3.
There must have been many more than that. But
we only heard of 2 or 3, and these at least for 2 of these, it was drug related. They are supposed to have found it difficult to procure the drug of choice, and that had so they had gone into withdrawal or whatever, and then it's not that simple also, right? You might already have some mental issues, and then you might have taken to drugs, or there's so many things.
Drugs could have led you to a mental issue.
So many things. But then
no, I was just thinking, I mean, when you were talking about these suicides and the link between drugs and mental illness and things like that, I was thinking like this enforcement models has its problems in situations like these, like the social situations. Had it been a collaborative interdepartmental effort, right, I would have wanted my mental health workers to tell the cops, like, you can't do it officially, but if you are, like, you can share, compare notes, you can share, give advice and take advice. I would have wanted my mental health workers to tell the cops, go easy on your drug busts. Now, I'll tell you why. I'm not promoting drug use. I'm not saying peddling should be encouraged. But if you're a health worker, you know that when supplies go short and this kind of situation, we don't know what kind of a trigger, what kind of a response it will trigger among your habituated users, some of whom you must be working with as well, right? But now, so you tell the cops, go easy, because obviously the person who's procuring drugs or whatever, prescription drugs, he's not going to find new markets, right? It's not like MG Market is like thriving with young people and I can go to a corner and peddle drugs to new people, right? I'm obviously supplying to my existing network of users. Do you really want them to go cold turkey in a situation like this? As far as a health worker goes, mental health worker goes, your responsibility is to that addict, right? And the best option for you in this really weird time is just keep him stable till this period is over, and then we continue our work. This kind of, I wonder if this kind of very realistic arrangement of now the cops are going ballistics with 10 bottles of fentanyl, and like last time I saw that report and I said 10 bottles of fentanyl, how is that a drug bust to begin with? It could be like 10 people I know who got a sore throat, right?
So this brings to mind also the need for mental health, some kind of mental health, not awareness, mental health system, not like all-round mental health system.
Yeah, which doesn't pass judgment, which doesn't talk about legality, criminality and all these issues, right? Because that's not their lookout.
No, I'm saying when they're, especially in a situation like this, mental health workers, mental health doctors, psychiatrists, psychologists, counselors, all these people, I think should be given more priority than they are being given, right?
Yeah.
In the sense that even the frontline workers need counseling.
Yes.
They have. I don't think they are receiving any. I don't think there is any system of giving receiving counseling in Sikkim. That needs to change. And वो तो अब है ही नहीं अभी कितना वो तो time लगेगा ना. But because even I have experienced it myself. When you are under stress, like you might think koi kuch bhi bole, it's not going to help, but it helps. One person, a counselor, telling you, okay, don't see if you're think. I mean, जो problem solving your counseling का ऐसा होता है ना. What do you think is going to happen when if your worry is this is going to happen? What will happen after that? If that happens. And then what do you think your family is going to do about it, or whatever they have this thing, no, to sort it out mentally. When you yourself are so stressed you can't think straight and all that, they sort it out and life becomes simpler. It works, like even 1 or 2 lines will work, but it's not there. And I'm thinking not these, but like the frontline workers must be going crazy also, like the doctors at STNM hospital, like not psychiatrists, other doctors also, they need counseling, they need some kind of thing.
Sessions at least.
Sessions,
Group sessions are fine.
सब कुछ चाहिए यार, मिल रहा है पता नहीं.
नहीं, obviously not.
I don't think so. No, it's very... No, I can't understand how that is not such a priority.
How does not figure on anyone's things to do list?
No, maybe it has. Maybe we're thinking too much of ourselves and like too highly of ourselves and thinking that other people have not thought about it. But they're
not doing anything visibly. What I'm talking... I mean, if they're doing it, then their messaging is wrong. I mean, if you've not heard about it, then obviously people who need it, that kind of information.
वो है ही नहीं ना, but वो...
Culture ही नहीं है.
So many things wrong. Culture भी नहीं है and...
Drive भी नहीं है.
No, and at the same time, you don't want... फिर ये groups नहीं चलेगा ना, ये group वाला system. You don't call like 10 doctors or 10 police officers and sit them down and then give them a lecture for half an hour. That's not going to work. That's so boring, यार. दिमाग और खराब हो जाएगा उससे. Like about mental health. तपाईँलाई यस्तो भन्नु, यस्तो गर्नुहोस्, यस्तो... It has to be one-on-one. It has to be more personalized. But yeah.
Yeah, if you open the doors and tell everyone this is where the door is and it is open, I'm talking about that messaging, right? Even that would be like you cannot just leave the door open and not tell anyone even where the door is.
Yeah.
Right? So
yes, that is what... Wow! Kya analogy hai. Yeah.
And on that,
I think we should end.
Yes.
We've gone on for too long. Thank you very much for listening to the Sikkim podcast.
Brought to you by Summit Times.
And please like, share, subscribe, and criticize and suggest.
Yeah, let us know whether this works.
And you can mail us at news@summittimes.com. Ta-da!